Hi, David here with another grocery saving tip. Now, if you think the only way to shop for food is by sticking to the big brands, if you think there's no other way to get the quality you're looking for and save money, then think again. Because there is a whole bunch of products out there that can help you feed your family good food at a fraction of the cost the household brands are charging you. And right now, if your food bill is exploding, you've got to be adding these products into your weekly routine. Stay tuned and I'll tell you all about them. Kraft, Hellmann's, Green Giant, Kellogg's. These are the household names we've grown up with. And you've probably been buying them for years. They spend massive amounts of money on marketing to keep themselves visible and to keep them at the front of your mind. Now, you might have started to educate yourself about what should and shouldn't be in the food you give to your family. And if you're doing that, that's very wise and that is very smart. What's more though, it links to the topic of this video really nicely, because I'm interested in ways we can cut our food costs without compromising on quality and make your dollars go further every week. So the next step for savvy shoppers like you is to question the price premium that these brands are charging you. Because make no mistake, they are charging you a premium, and not necessarily because the product is a premium product. It could be a plain old can of beans, but someone has to pay for that advertising. And right now, that someone could be you. But there is an alternative today in a lot of supermarket chains, and it's most commonly called private label. Private label products are ones you'll only find in a specific retailer. And that's why you might know them as store brands, retailer brands, own brands. There's a bunch of different names out there, but the idea is always the same. They are unique to the one retailer. And dollar for dollar, they're cheaper than their national brand equivalents, largely because there is no huge advertising cost that has to be covered. The retailers essentially let the big brands foot all of that expense, knowing that you'll be drawn into their stores by that marketing, and then they can pick up sales of their cheaper alternatives while you're there. Exactly how much you could save is dependent on a lot of different things. But as a guide, I took a look at HEB's website this morning, and I found you could save 45% on noodles, 25% on milk, 40% on cornflakes, and 12% on baked beans. So it's really easy for you to imagine a saving of something around 30% on a basket of retailer brand versus national brand products. Now, you might not have noticed much about these products before now. To be honest, private label only came onto my radar when I got a job as a buyer for a supermarket chain 20 years ago. And before that, I kind of knew there was this other stuff on the shelves when I shopped, but I wasn't really that interested. And if I'm honest, I kind of turned my nose up a bit at it. I thought that they were kind of cheap. I have to tell you, with 3 kids and a mortgage under my belt, that kind of thinking couldn't be further from my mind today. But anyway, sometimes they'll be really easy to spot. You walk into Trader Joe's today and you know you're getting a cart full of Trader Joe's products. But in other cases, you might have to look a bit harder to pick them. That's because oftentimes they don't actually carry the retailer's name. Better Foods, for example. That's a private brand launched by Walmart earlier this year, or one of HEB's ranges called Hill Country Fare. So, my first piece of advice is this. Don't ignore a brand just because you don't recognize it. That's what the big brands are hoping you'll do. See, they work with the retailers to decide how they should lay out their shelves, and they deliberately do it in a way that makes the household brand very visible. Now, that's really helpful for a savvy shopper like you, because it gives you all these really nice beacons, all these really nice signposts all over the store, guiding you to where you want to go. And from there, all you have to do is put in an extra few seconds to look for any of these own brands that might offer you terrific value for money. I've said many times that this channel is all about helping you save money on your food bill. And that is a massive topic for you, for me, and for the grocery industry right now. Retailers know a lot of us are under pressure because of price inflation and cost of living stress. and they're battling one another to try and prove to you that they offer you the best value. But here's the thing, because value and value for money aren't the same thing. I'm more interested in the latter because, well, I don't just want to feed my family the cheapest, crappiest thing I can find. My guess is you don't either, right? I'm interested in how stuff was made, what it was made with, as well as how much it costs. So my second tip with this is always compare like for like when it comes to private label. I'll give you an example. Walmart's Great Value Vanilla Bean Flavoured Ice Cream is cheap. It's 6.5 cents per fluid ounce to be precise. Breyer's Natural Vanilla Ice Cream Gluten-Free Kosher Dairy Milk, on the other hand, is not. That comes in at 10.7 cents per fluid ounce. 65% more expensive. One is clearly a good value option in that it's the cheapest vanilla ice cream Walmart sells. But if you think that gluten-free kosher dairy milk is important enough, then you might decide that Breyer's represents great value for money at that price. They're very different products at very different price points. So you can't write off store brands altogether because some value products don't meet your needs. Always flip the carton and always check the ingredients as well as the nutritional information. Here's another example using canned tomatoes just to underscore that. At the UK's biggest supermarket, Tesco, you've got a bunch of different options. Chopped, diced, organic. It goes on. And there are plenty of different brands available as well. Mutti, Napolina, something called the Grower's Harvest, which, as they helpfully point out on the tin, is one of those Tesco store brands. And there's the Tesco brand itself. So let's take a couple that look pretty middle of the road and compare them. We'll look at Napolina chopped tomatoes and the Tesco branded equivalent. Now Napolina comes in at £2.50 per kilo if you don't have a reward card. Tesco chopped tomatoes are £1.22 per kilo, less than half the cost when you compare the unit price. But what about what's inside the can? Well, the Napolina contains 70% tomatoes compared with the Tesco product at 65%, which also refers to concentrated tomato juice. So no other ingredient differences and relatively small nutritional variations between the two products. So for me, those differences don't justify paying double for, and I would more than likely choose the Tesco product. You might disagree, maybe on the grounds of flavour or because of how you're going to use the product, and that's great. This is a really good example though of comparing like for like and making an informed choice that could save you a whole heap of cash on basic items just like this when the differences between them are actually pretty small. One question you might be asking is, can I trust private label products? And my answer to that is yes. As a general rule, I believe you can. Obviously, I can't vouch for every single product that's out there, but I do know from my experience the kind of testing and development that these brands have to go through. And I can assure you they don't typically just get thrown together and pushed out the door. The other thing you should know is that there are a lot of big brands out there who are also making private label products for retailers. Now, clearly, they wouldn't necessarily want to advertise that to you, but it makes sense if you think about it. If you owned huge production sites and your customers said they were going to start selling the same product as you, just in a box with their name on it instead of yours, what would you do? Be that as it may, it's quite reasonable if you're still on the fence about retailer brands. Remember, that's what all the marketing is about. And it still might be a little bit socially unacceptable where you are to be buying these kind of products. But my final piece of advice today is this. To hell with all that. This is your money, your budget, your family we're talking about. So just give it a go for 30 days. Go ahead and make some swaps this week on your grocery list and track the quality and the cost. Then next week, add some more, or if you didn't warm to the ones you picked before, just swap them out for some different things instead. Because I can guarantee there are plenty of people around you who are doing the same and making regular savings. In the UK, nearly 40% of all the food that's bought in supermarkets is now private label. And in the US, it's less. Store brands only account for roughly 1 out of every 5 products bought. But they're growing very, very fast. So be assured, plenty of people you know are probably jumping on that train. So the bottom line on this is there's a bunch of smart cookies out there saving money on their food bill week in, week out. They're keeping more dollar in their pocket every time they shop, and they've got the same access to the same products and the same information as you. So don't be put off just because you don't recognize the name on the tin. That's just the marketing talking. Make some proper comparisons by educating yourself on ingredients, and then invest deliberately where it really does matter to you and make a difference to your family. But above all, just give private label a go if you're not considering it today. You're going to feel the benefit in your pocket, and if you genuinely don't like what you taste, there's a good chance you can ask for a refund, because most decent supermarkets will honour a satisfaction guarantee on their own brand products. So go save yourself some money. But before you do, give this video a like if you liked it, and a comment if it made you think. I'm going to be back every week with another money-saving tip to help you go pro with your groceries. So hit subscribe and you'll be keeping more dollars in your pocket in no time. See you in the next one.